Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Dr. Basu.
Good evening,
Thank
sir.
you. You're perfectly audible. I know that nowadays we did not really make that. Please check if I'm audible or not, because we are pretty sure that we will be. And
We are very much habituated, and we're very much
so see,
comfortable zone to have that. We're not asking those things because we know that we have to be perfect on the if you're having a Zoom meeting or on a virtual mode.
Absolutely. So Corona did have some positive points, and we can stay stress-free from Corona at the moment. So it is pretty nice way to start this today's event, and we welcome participants amongst us. People are joining in from here on YouTube and also on Facebook. We are live here and also on those both social handles of CMA. I'll just take a few minutes, not even a few minutes, a minute or two, to introduce Dr. Basu, who is a member of CMA for long, and he has been a patron of CMA. We started this this members forum last year with a intent to improve our engagement with our members. We found out that most of our members have expertise in a field or the other. This may be a field which is very regular, generic, which we need every day. Or these may be fields which we absolutely don't know, something new. So it's very interesting to learn from these learned people and these experts about their journey, their understanding of the subject and the theme. So we have one more person amongst us, Dr. Sudip Basu, whom we thank for taking time out of his schedule and giving us this interesting. I understand the topic is very interesting, which I am thoroughly going to enjoy. I know that. And we are going to listen to his point of view on the subject that he will be speaking today. Dr. Basu is presently serving as Assistant Professor in Management Studies Department of the Asansol Engineering College, which is under the GIS group. He is having more than 11 years of academic experience. He has a PhD in Management, MBA in Marketing and Finance, and he has done BBA in Sales and Marketing also. His research areas include stress management, credit risk management, consumer behavior, digital marketing, social marketing, advertising, digital financial literacy, etc. He is the author of a book, Corporate Strategy, Thakur Publication. And he has 4 patent publications, 15 national and international journal publications to his credit, including the Scopus Index Web of Science. He is on the editorial board of Referred Indexed Journal, editor of a book, review member of more than 3 UGC-approved journals. He is also a convener, coordinator in several conferences, seminars, and webinars. He is a one of the question paper setters and session chair, question paper setters of Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, University of Technology, Macau. So there are many students who maybe will be contacting you after we have this session. Be aware of that. So we welcome and we are really thankful. We are grateful that Dr. Basu has joined today. So we will not take any further time from my side. He is absolutely waiting to listen and hear from him what he has to say. It's all up to you, Dr. Basu.
Thank you so much, Anirban sir. And first of all, I would like to thank the higher authority of Calcutta Management Association. So arrange such a wonderful forum, and especially thanks to you to give me opportunity to speak something, say something about today's topic, and hopefully it will be helpful for the basically this my research paper was there and to the public sector and public sector bank employees, and hopefully it will be helpful for you people to get something about they have awareness about that what was going on in the stress management stress area at the public and public sector bank employees. So before I'll start, I'll just sharing my screen. Just a second. Is it visible? So
it is visible.
Okay, thank you. Now today's topic is all about I would like to go for the stress management review on public and private sector bank employees. Now, before going to the particular thing, now I have to discuss about that. What is stress? Now, in banking sector in India, that undergo tremendous changes in the with the increased competitions and increased level of deregulations, which has facilitated the Indian banking system, and it has been changed enormously in the banking sector because in previous way, I'm talking about these private sector bank employees. They have there as a concept was that if I'm in a government sector public sector bank employees, then I have a secured job with myself and I will be do my job and I'll be do at the 60 years and there is no headache for me. In the other context, that's why I'm talking about the private sector bank employees. They're having that fear of job security. That is a main purpose of this or main source of the stress. What I've found before going for this particular research. And if I'm talking about the stress, as per the VR definitions are available now, if very famous definitions are available now, Hansel and 1950s have defined the stress as a not necessarily something bad or like sorry, it all depends on how you take it. The stress of excelling, creating successful working relationship, while that a failure, humiliation, or infection of the determinant. Now, basically, stress is a body's reaction. Nothing else that the body's reactions on a particular change. Now, this body's reaction is all about in physical, mental, and emotional adjustment. Now, if we're talking about this physical, mental, and emotional, now this physical we can go ahead with a certain stage. Suppose a person is physically very much stressed, so he will be taking some rest for 8 to 6 hours in a day. In the next day morning, he'll be fit. Physically, he'll be fit. He'll be not stressed with the physical. But this mental and emotional stress is very much dangerous. If we take rest, we cannot remove those mental and emotional adjustments or emotional stress rather, because it really is a mind game. And every time if we're going for work, again the same thing. What will happen? What will be my job task will be there today? And this will affect on their work family relations too. One thing is job satisfaction is there, organization commitments are there, same way their work family relations are affected. Now, if I'm talking about the statement of the problem, because presently both the public sector and private sector banks are working stress on employee becoming the heavier, especially in the private sector banks, we all know. But it has been noticed that in banking sector, the employees are too much busy with their job in the office as well as outside the office. That is a main purpose, because right now people are rather the bank employees are forced to go to the outside for their coming for the other business. And for the private sector bank, there are some specific people have been assigned for this. But for the public sector bank, right now I'm talking about, especially I've taken the name of the bank like SBI. They have taken this particular initiative that you're supposed to go outside for your business. Like I'm talking about the current accounts for the business loans or by like any kind of loans, whatever. So right now the banking job is not itself in-house a job. It's supposed to be outside. Slowly, they are moving to go for outside to take some businesses. Now, for that reason, the amount of stress in work affects the employee's physical and psychological health. Because as an employee, you're supposed to not, when before joining a particular bank, you're having a dream that I have to sit in a particular 1x4x4 room and I will do my job in a desk job. This particular, I use the word the desk job. But right now, people have to go outside. Now, if you go to outside, your job is not like a desk job. You have to be desk, it is desk job as well as outside the office. That is the main thing. You have to make a balance between these inside the office and outside the office. Now, when you are going for the outside the office, it's definite that you are having some target with you. That you're supposed to open a 10 current accounts, 2 current accounts, 3 current accounts, or you have to go by the loans, 1 loan, 1 home loan, 2 personal loans, like that. So these though, whenever people are having face stress, and these consequences of job stress is very decrease the job satisfaction. That is the main part, because ultimately, whatever you're doing the job in any sector, satisfaction is very important. If the employee is not satisfied, then supposed to be maybe he quit the job, or he's supposed to reduce his commitment towards organization, which is bound to be, because as an employee, you're supposed to be committed to your organizations. But if you're not satisfied with your job, then automatically you're supposed to, your morale will be down and automatically your commitment will be slowly goes down. Now, so the purpose of this particular investigation is about the job stress or the job satisfaction, organization commitment. Also, because of the nuclear family, he or she has to perform both family and organization responsibilities, because he cannot ignore the organization as well as he cannot ignore his family, his or her family too. So they are facing some imbalance between work and life and family. So this is supposed to be our statement of the problem. Accordingly, we have done this particular thing. Now, next, it's all about, I have gone for several reviews because my topic is all about that a review. So I have gone through several reviews, more than I think 100, 110 research papers or reviews I have studied. And as per the reviews concerned, there are so many reviews. I'm giving some samples of reviews, past research papers, thesis, articles, journals. And because of the unable to that give in all the reviews because of the paucity of time, I'm unable to give all 110 or 112 reviews. I've given a few samples of that. And as per the review concern, I have framed few objectives. Now, as for objectives are concerned, that to assess and analyze the job stress among public and private sector bank employees in West Bengal in comparison with the sources of stress. That's very important. One parameter is all about the sources of stress in public. It's supposed to be find out that what are the sources of stress in public and private sector bank employees, whether they are same or they are different. Now, second object is all about to examine the effect of stress on job satisfaction or organization commitment. Now, we're supposed to know about that. What is the effect of stress on job satisfaction and organization commitment, both in the public and private sector bank employees? Now, next object is all about to examine the effect of stress on work-family conflict, whether the stress is affect the work-family conflict or not. If yes, then which one? That whether public sector bank employees are much better, they're heavily face stress, or they are having imbalance in the work and family life, or private sector bank employees. The last thing, to ascertain the coping strategies adopted by the employees and their effect on reducing stress and improving quality of work-family relationship. Now, this is very important part because this is the part of all about the stress management, because we know in any sector people are having stress. Still, we are in academics, we are also having in certain cases, we are having stress. But we have to overcome those stresses, or we can minimize, because we cannot ignore those stresses, because stress is always there in every sector, every professional, everywhere stress is there. We cannot ignore that. But we can cope up with the stress. We can take some coping strategies, we can adopt some coping strategies so that we can minimize those stress in a certain aspects. Now, as per the objects concerned, this particular model have taken because this model is all about called Baron and Kenny method, which has been established on 1986 by the Baron Kenny. And this is particularly the model of mediating variable. Now, why I'm saying this is because this has been tested and it has been proven that this mediating variable testing with the 3 regressions variable, because this is a statistical thing and this model has been taken by the various researchers. Now, this model is all about, like, let's see the model. Now, one is 3 parameters are there. One is independent variable is level of stress, and dependent variable if you're talking about the work-family relationship. Now, first thing you have to see that whether the relationship between level of stress and work-family conflict means, first we have to see that if stress is there and work-family conflict is there. Now, if we take the mediating variable coping strategy, now what will the effect? Whether we can reduce our level of stress, whether will we be happy? That is the main thing. Now, if I'm talking about this variables model concern, that C is all about the effect of independent variable and dependent variable. That is total effect. Now, what is the total effect on level of stress and work-family relationship? If I'm talking about the A, impact of independent variable on mediating variable. Now, mediating variable comes into the particular game. Now, once the employee have adopted that mediating variable as a coping strategy, now after that, what will be the effect of that mediating variable? That is B. What will be the effect of mediating variable on depending variable after controlling that independent variable? If people have adopted coping strategy, then what will be the outcome? Whether they have reduced their stress, whether they have minimized their stress or not. Now, let's see that's all about direct effect of independent variable to dependent variable after controlling variable. Now, there is a direct relationship, like whether the level of stress has been reduced, and if it is reduced, then how much benefited with their work family relationship. So this model is very famous, specifically in the stress management, not only in the banking sector, but in banking sector, people have used this particular model, and the people have been benefited after getting or after taking this mediating variable as their to reduce their stress. Now, if I'm talking about the findings, now if I'm talking about the sources of stress, now it has been revealed from the study, various studies, both the employees of public and private sector bank are having same sort of perceived intensity of stress. Yes, it is very quite conclusive nature, and it is true. As per the research concern, I have seen these things that both the employees of public and private sector bank, they are having a same sort of capacity of intensity of stress. It's not about that public sector bank employees are having different sources of stress, or public sector bank employees are different sources of, though they are having same arena, because they are having the banking employees. But in certain aspect, that public sector bank employees, private sector employees, they have, like if I'm talking about the within the branch, in the branch, there are several kind of customers are coming. So they have to entertain those customers, like the people who is very much educated, that people have to be entertained, and the people who is illiterate, not even know about, not even put his sign signature over there. You have to entertain that people also, that customer, because everyone is customer. Because it will take a time, or it will take a like for them. I have taken that feedback from the bank employee. It is harassment for them, that the people who is not having illiterate, and they have to tell them, they have to inform them all the informations. Like they don't know where to sign, they don't know in a check where I have to write, what to write. So this is the scenario what they have faced. But in the same way, the educated person will know about that, where to write, how to deposit, how to do the things. But these things we have to be go ahead, because you never know, because all are your customers. You're supposed to entertain all your customers, whether they're educated in certain aspect or not. Now, if I'm talking about the duty hours, now if you're having that, talking about the duty hours, like right now that duty hours is like 10 to 4, 10 to 5. But in a certain aspect, this is only this timing is only for the like up to 3:30 is time for the customers. You can come as a customer, you come down at the branch of the customer within 3:30. But if as employee of a bank, you're supposed to be stay 2 hours more, because you are having certain aspects, certain tasks which has to be completed by the end of the day, because it's your duty. So duty timing, normally they are having like, if you're having in a higher post, higher, like if you're having officer, if you're a manager, you're supposed to be stay at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. That should be a thing where you have to do your task. Now, second is source of stress. It is obvious that employees of both sectors undergo similar pressure of work. Filing for a knowledge time, accomplishing lots of responsibilities of workers of both segment banks experience similar potentiality of stress. Already that the pressure of work is both the same. We're talking about the private bank, they are having some extra things, like already I've discussed that right now public sector banks also started their process of doing the outside work. They have to go by that. You have to go outside. You have to go for the business. You have to come with a business. Because private banks also, they are having a sales team regarding that. But in a government bank, there are no separate sales team for the other businesses. But this has to be an extra load which has to be bear by the government employee, public sector bank employees too. Because in private sector bank, they know very well before joining a particular private bank, they know their task will be this. So there is a chance of less stress, because they already know that this will be their task. But for the public sector bank employees, they're thinking about that. I have to sit over there. I have to do my work. But slowly, they have started to change this process. Now, third, both the sector employees are anguished about their monetary assistance, training, etc. They're also in distress caused by the circumstances of the office. Rules and regulations also fabricate equal intensity of pressure amongst both the segment of personnel. Now, this is quite natural, quite similar in every organization, because frankly speaking, that the employees will be not happy at any moment of time, whatever you pay them. If suppose we are paying them 1 lakh rupees per month, in certain aspect, they will be not happy. I need 1 lakh 10. If you're having somebody paying that 10,000, if people are, no, this is not right. I have already worked in organization for the last 1 year, 2 year, and it has been just 10 to 12,000 per month. Now I need some more. On that time, because in private sector bank, bank, the employees having a chance to shift their jobs. But in public sector bank, it's very difficult. I'm not saying next to impossible, but it's very difficult because you have to be, again, they have to give exam, they have to give another interviews, and there are lots of things are going on. But in private sector banks, you can go ahead with the other bank, you have to give interview, you have to, if you are selected, you can release from your current employer, you can join another way. In private sector bank, it's very easy compared to public sector banks. The public sector banks is very difficult because there should be a vacancy supposed to be needed. But in private sector banks, those vacancies are very much available in the market. So there is a chance, there is a stress things are there in regarding that monetary assistance. It is not saying that banks are not paying correct salary, correct amount of salary, or that because you cannot satisfy a particular employee with the monetary things. Now, if talking about the other variable like job satisfaction, another parameter is a huge thing for the stress management or stress for the bank employees. That the analysis exposed that public banks based on full recognition of effort on the employees, but the employees of private sector bank do not gain the equivalent gratitude of their job from their association. And for this ridiculous issue, private bank employees are not gratified with the extent on which the employees are private public sector bank employees. Now, this is very important because if I'm talking about the public sector bank employees and the private sector bank employees, the effort are same. I'm not asking, I'm talking about the field job. If you're talking about, I'm taking the example of like desk job, a clerk or a manager in a particular branch of a private sector bank employees and a manager of a public sector bank employees. Both are, their responsibilities are more or less same. Now, talking about the recognition part. Now, if you're talking about the recognition, now, if you're doing very good job, now private sector bank employees are doing that, they're expecting more and more and more because people are, suppose you are 1 month, you are having some target or you are doing some good job, but your boss, your next supervisor are not giving you that first of assistance or recognition towards your effort. But in government, suppose you're talking about the increments or any other benefits, it is not there. It is delayed or it is not there. But in public sector bank employees, they will automatically get those increments or other things without any target achievement, other things. It will automatic choice. But for the private sector bank, you have to do a harder work. You have to showcase your works that I have done this, I have done that. And your boss should be recognized that things. So that for that reason, your relationship with your boss is need to be very good. Now, second things, public bank employees undergo the responsibilities specified for them is satisfactory. But the other sector employees do not sense the same. They confirm that the level of responsibility designation for them is somewhat difficult to admit. Now, public sector bank employees always they're saying that, even talking about the people, I'm just taking an example of that coming to the computers, ITs in the banking sector. Now, the people, the employees who are like in middle age, like 50 age, above 50 ages, when the computer has first launched in the banks, I have seen live, I will take discuss with a few people, few uncles of my area that how will I do the entire thing, because computers are coming to the organized banks, and I have done last 20 years with the filing with the manual work. Now I have to use the computers. How it is possible? How can I do the particular thing? Whether in training are available, training will be given, whether the training will be helpful for me or not. These are the stress parameters. Slowly they have reduced they have minimized that, they're not having that particular confidence with their using the computers. But in same case, the young people are young, the people who are very new, they are very much comfortable. They're accepting the change. Now, this change management effect on the stress management, because the people who are above 50, they are in stress. And if talking about the government bank, public sector banks, they are also in a stress. How shall I do my work? Because ultimately you have to do your job with the help of a computer. No manual, no filing. Everything will be in a system. That is one problem for that. Now, even talking about the next thing, in any matter of organization, the view of public bank employees is taken into consideration, but the other sector bank does not walk into the same road. The employees of private bank do not acquire the same assessment of their opinion. Now, talking about that organization perspective, they have taken into consideration that public sector bank employees are more or less they are happy with the job status because they know that their job has been secured. But the private sector bank employees are their assessments will be they're very much important. At the end of the year, financial year, their assessments are matters, and the opinions from the supervisors does matters. So they are waiting for that, and they are looking for that. The assessment should be very good. But in a certain aspect, this assessment may be counted or may not be. If it is counted, then the people are very much satisfied because my job has been counted and my assessment is there. But if it's not counted, then automatically the job satisfaction will be low. Next is all about like no major distinction is convinced with the implementing of skills of the workers. Now, the skills of the workers in private sector bank employees, it is there. It have to be your skills will be much more than the public bank employees. If a public bank employees, they know that I have to do this task. Okay, I have to assign for this. But same way, the private sector bank employees, they're also having the same task. But I've taken this view from the others that public sector bank employees, particular people are having good they're having good skills, but they are not recognized. But in the same way, the private sector bank employees, if they are having some good skills about like other skills, talking about the other skills, communication skills, or any other managerial skills they're having, it has been proceed or it has been recognized. If it is yes, then employees are satisfied. If it is no, then in certain aspects, the employees will not be satisfied. The next is all about managers' attitudes to discriminate the employees. As a public bank, employees get admirable behavior from the managers, whereas slight unlike view is recognized in a private bank. In this bank, workers do not obtain such good behavior at the other staff require. I think this is quite habitual for the private bank employees. And recently I'm not talking about that. I'm not taking the name of the particular bank or the people. Already we know it has been viral that the behavior of a boss towards their subordinates. So this attitudes matters, and it discriminates the employee's job satisfaction. In every time your boss is in a rude, their behavior is very much rude. They're using some bad languages, and they're not recognize you in a certain aspect. You're doing your hard job. You're doing your utmost level of skills you're using, but though in a certain aspect you have not achieved your targets, or you're not achieving on the particular, or you're not satisfied with your managers. On that time, your manager is attitude is very much different. In the same time, if you are very good in your job, and the same manager who is not, who was very rude in the nature, he will be very happy. Means it's all about that what you are doing, your task, your achievements matters. And it is not there in the private bank only. That incident was there for the private banks, but in the government banks, the public sector banks is also the same thing out there. Right now, the public sector bank employees are also having that, managers are having same kind of instruction from the higher authority. You're supposed to give pressure to your employees. But the same way, the difference is there, the job security. Now, next is all about that job. After integrating all aspects of satisfaction allied with the job, the intensity of the satisfaction is appreciated greatly amongst the employees of public bank in contrast to the same of the private bank. Already I have discussed that this appreciation is very much important. In public bank, it is there as per the review concerns, but in the private sector bank, it is, I'm not saying that it is never, no, but compared to public sector bank employees or banks, it is more or less less. I'm talking about the stress job relation to the form using simple linear equations, and that stress, if I'm talking about some of the reviews have there, they have taken these simple linear regression equations, and as per the result concerns, when stress increases, satisfaction or job satisfaction also increases, which is very unnatural in nature, because we know if stress increases, job satisfaction must be decreased. But as per the results concerns, as per the statistical results concern, stress increases, satisfaction is also increases. Now it is very peculiar for me, you, because for a few of you, because it's very new. Yes, absolutely, because the people who are not, where they are very much casual. So when you give them a pressure, automatically, when you give them stress, when you give them pressure, automatically their work will be shown. As a manager, you know that these are people, you are very best people. They are very much competitive. They are very much good in their own job, but they are very much casual with the things. They have given something task, you're delaying and delaying. But in certain aspects, it has been, you are giving them stress, you're increasing the level of stress, automatically their job, the task will be highlighted. So there is a chance for a manager that if the stress has been increased, job satisfaction may increase. Now it is apparent for the simple linear regression analysis, both the stress and job satisfaction is more for the employees, for public bank employees, same of the private bank employees. It is there that job satisfaction, public sector bank employees more, because there one reason that is also still exists, that is the job security. Otherwise, that the task or the assignment or responsibilities, or talking about the duty hours, are more or less same for the both the banks. But only the one reason there is a distinct difference between these two, that the job security. Now, next is all about like the one of the variable that is very important. There is the organizational commitment. Now, this is very important for the employees, because employees are looking for their organization, that what they are thinking about. Now, if a review concern that particular variable, that factor is organization commitment, the employees of both segments are always geared up to acknowledge any sort of job assignment. For this event, they demonstrate the identical judgment. Now, always that organizational commitment is very much important. If suppose any particular employee has been assigned for a particular job and it has been acknowledged by the organization, automatically it will boost up the employee's morale. Now, the employee will think that, yes, my organization is acknowledging me for my task. Automatically, their stress level will be minimized. And if it is no, then automatically their stress will be increased. And if the organization is already assigned, acknowledge their task, then automatically they can reduce the stress. There is a part of stress management. Yes, always, whatever what percentage they have achieved is supposed to be acknowledged as an organization. That should be a commitment as an organization. The next is for employing in different association. Happily, the staff for both the banks place in the same opinion. No disparity in the attitude of observed in this case, because both the bank employees are very happy with association with their own sectors, whether it's public or private sector bank, and their opinion are more or less the same. There's no disparity of the attitude of the observer, because they know that I love this particular sector, banking sector, and I'm happy to work here. That should be the nature. Means your environment should be very good. If you're talking about any specific branch, the branch environment should be very good. And this has to be there. And this is the thing where managers' involvement, a branch manager's involvement is very important to make the environment very comfortable. And it is there as per the review concern. Now, next is all about both the sector employees have a profess that their organizations have enhanced as a place to work. Both sector employees have conceived the same about the well administration of the organization. Now, both the employees have the conceit that administrations, associations are there, and it is organized in nature. And as a customer, we have seen entering in every branch of the bank, whether it's private or public, the ambience or the environment or the professionalism are okay. And the association with the administration, that is the internal part of the particular bank. And that is also they are happy with the particular thing. But if it is not there, suppose, because we're talking about the public sector bank employees, other private sector bank employees, they're having their own unions. And if we're talking about that, the employees are not happy, then they have to be go beyond their expectation. And their expectation is not achieved or fulfilled by the higher authority of the particular bank, then it will be a difficult task for the higher management of the particular bank to run a particular bank or branch smoothly. Now, next is all it is conceived that organizational commitment performs a pivotal role to determine that the employees of the both the sector banks will linger with the organization in long run and perform passionately towards achieving organizational goal. Now, this is also required because you're supposed to do your work, or if I'm talking about the higher authority, you're supposed to run your organization or bank with your employees only, because these are, without employee you cannot run a particular bank, because you're supposed to require manpower, employees to perform or run your organization. So this pivotal role is very important. This role, employee roles, is very much important. For that, organization need to be perform a pivotal role towards their employees and both the sector. It's not about the only private sector or public sector, this will be different, but their commitment should be same for the both the banks, because these are the organizational commitment. Suppose I have said as an organization, top level management, that this will be your task, and if you achieve these things, you will get this kind of incentives, and that's supposed to be there. You should not uncommitted with your commitments. The next result, that impact of stress on organization commitment is demonstrated using a simple integration analysis. Maximum people have done these things, and there is no disparity in the effect of stress on organization commitment among the employees of public and private sector employees, because there is no disparity, because branch are same or the organizations are same. Both are banking sector. The only difference, one is private, one is public. But the intention of the organization or commitment of the organization are the same. So there should not be any disparity of the effect of stress or organization commitment on the employees of public and private sector. If you are giving the chance, you're appreciating your employees, you're giving some extra benefits, you're giving some incentive to your employees as an organization, you're fulfilling your commitments, then both the big sector bank employees are happy. They'll be not stressed. Now, next is all about work family conflict. Now, in this event, that particularly any program with a family unit. Now, our family conflict is all about to balance the work life and family life. Now, in today's concern, there is a problem with the bank employees to balance this work life and family life. Suppose I have an example. I've given an example. Suppose we are having a one party at the 7 o'clock of the evening. But suddenly you are having a one important task, or suppose party means suppose your wife's birthday. So you have organized something else, and everything has been set up on that particular day. And suddenly your boss is saying that no, today there's an emergency. You're supposed to stay at 9 o'clock the night, because we're having emergency. You have to do a particular task. We have to do this. We're having some pending task. This is uncertain for you. Now this will matter you, because you already set up, already have a committed towards your family that today we'll go for a particular birthday party, and this is at the same time your work balance is also there. Your manager, your immediate supervisor says that today you have to stay at 9 o'clock. Now this is the problem. The employer undergo the same kind of problem, and it's supposed to be there whether you're working in a public sector bank or in a private sector bank. This may happen because both the sector bank employees are having their own family, and this particular thing may come. Now this is the problem for you. What you can do, but ultimately you have to manage because you are stressed. Now this is one time. Another second time, your son's or daughter's birthday, same thing happen. Or you are having or not having time. Every day you are coming late at a normal timing duty of 6 o'clock, or you're coming at 9 o'clock. So this may affect in a family too. It's not a one day issue. If you're doing the same thing, if you're doing the same thing by like 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, then it's may impact on your family life. And this is supposed to be reduced, and in certain aspect this is supposed to be managed. If you have committed with your family, you're supposed to inform your boss, and you're supposed to be go there, and you're supposed to be manage these things. Otherwise you cannot manage your stress, because if it is not there, slowly there is a gap with your family members. And if you're maintaining, if you're going by the, if you want to happy your family, then you cannot happy with your immediate boss. The boss will not be happy. So this is the area where the stress has been arises. But you're supposed to manage those stresses. And for that, you're supposed to inform your boss previously that I have to go for this. If anything is there, please give me a little bit early. That should be managed by, and simultaneously your manager should understand these problems, because he's also belonging from the same family members. He's also having the family. He's supposed to be understand that, yes, this guy is having family, his wife's birthday today, I supposed to support that particular thing. Okay, I'm having some extra work I have to do in a different way. I can take instead of him any other people, or else I can do in my way. After the next day it will be there. If it is so much important, you can take another people. Now, as a consequence of stress, employees, both the banks are deprived from the taking pleasure in any family occasion. Already I have discussed these things. In certain aspects, they are not involved with so many family occasions. They have to say no, I'll be not there because of my duty. Now, owing on the pressure of work, the staffs of public and private sector banks are important to engage the time with their children, wife, and other members of family. So there is no disparity with the workers of both sectors for failing to establish themselves a good parent or spouse. Now, this is equal for the public and private sector bank. It's not there the private sector bank employees are more not having this more stressed, because both are having same, both are facing same issue, that work family imbalance. They're having work because they're failed to establish that they're to be a good parent or spouse. Now, next is a disturbance is also produced from the family. Due to some family activities, they cannot concentrate on the office work day. Now, this is a reverse thing. First thing I've discussed about that, due to office disturbance, now you are having disturbed, you're disturbing your family life. Now, this is the reverse one. Now, due to for the family, you're not doing job accurately in the particular organization or bank. Now, this is very important. If your family activities are there, the main concern every time you're thinking about that, my parents are not well, my wife is not well, my children is not well. So every time that family things, or there is a problem with the family, that the people are asking you that come to the particular house because they have doing so many jobs, so many tasks for the last 7 days. So their family demands you. Family is asking you to give some time to them also. Now, this is one kind of stress is there in your mind while doing your work. That by doctor's appointment is this time, suppose I have to go there. Now, how in your mind there are dual aspects are going on. Now, there's a disturbance from the family side. Due to the family issues, you're not concentrated in your work in the 10 to 5 working hours. And it is there for the, it is not there for the, like it is much more for the private sector bank employees. It is both public and private sector bank, both are having the same issues. The next is to solve the problem at home. People of public and private sector bank endeavor the implement that problem solving behaviors, but they both are not succeeded to employ these techniques to resolve difficulty in their house. And this is I think I'm clearly saying that this is not 100% solve things, because this problem will be there in your daily life, but you're supposed to manage those things. Someday you can go ahead with you can give time with your family. Sometime you have to give your time with your organization too. What is required? And one more thing, your family members should understand your work culture, your work behavior. If they understand, suppose your parents, your wife, your children. I'm not talking about the children because children are very they are not having that much of understanding that what you are doing, but the people who are enough matured, like your wife or your parents, they're supposed to understand your job culture. If they understand your job culture, then in certain aspect, I'm not saying 100%, like 50% you can reduce your stress, because you know in your mind that my family is there. They know what I'm doing, what is my job culture, right now I'm busy. They know these things. And these things are there. If that understanding, that confidence you're having with your family, that backup you can get from your family members, then you'll work happily with your organization. Now, from the review, this illustrates that work family company is strongly influenced by stress. And therefore, when stress levels drop, employees undergo decreased work family conflict. Yes, always. When you are not having stress, you can undergo the decrease of the work family conflict. Now, stress consider the attach of positivity, or positively you have to work with the work family conflict. Now, you have to take it positively. You know that this problem will be occurred, and you're supposed to be manage those things in the both way, because you have to balance this work life and family life. Otherwise, this stress level will be increased, and in a certain day, you're supposed to leave anyone, whether you have stopped working the particular organization or you have to uh, uh, distract with your family members slowly. Now, next is all about that coping strategy with the work family relationship. This is very important. Now I'm talking about that if you want to make good work life and family life, this coping strategy is very much an important mediating factor, or mediating variable rather. And this has been adopted by the so many bank employees, and it has been very good for them to adapting coping strategies. Like in any profession, stress is quite relevant. And investigating the study, it is revealed that managed stress employees of both banks interpret the expand of knowledge and accumulate the innovative skills. Now, employees of public and private bank can work proficiently with the rapidly. They consider it will assist them to tackle stress in their occupation. No dispersive consequences is the event of the both segment staffs. Now, if you are adopting that coping strategy, I have to cope up with the particular thing. I have to give time with my family. I have to give time, same time I give to the organization. If this culture will arise, like 10 to 5, fully focus on your bank. And after 5, you have to give time with the family members. There will be no disturbance from the bank side. And if this culture is there, then it is very much useful. Then automatically you can cope up with the things. Or else, because certain aspect you have to understand with the family. If your family member is so much understandable, then it is very good for you. Then you can manage your stress. Because you and your family member are in a walk in the same road, then they can understand. If your family member are going the same road, then they can understand. Okay, you are doing this kind, you are facing this kind of problem in your inside the office, inside the bank. Now, next is that staffs of both banks confront their many situations on the work life in views of preparing themselves for worst situation, very irrelevant difference of the perceived. Staffs of public bank and public bank think that work is not everything. This is the confidence you require. This is the self-belief that work is not everything. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, you're supposed to reach your home and your family members. And you're doing work for whom? You're only for your family members, not for you. It is there for you as well as for your family members. So work is not everything. Work is a area whether you have to do the work for your daily life belongings, you have to support your family members, and for your own influence or own motivation, or own importance. That should be the culture. That work is not everything. I will not involve 24/7 with my work, especially in the banking sector. Now, copying that private bank employees, private bank workers are more energetic to pay attention to the work comparison to the public sector bank, because again, the same thing, that's a difference with the job security. That concentration, extra concentration is there, public sector, private sector banks. And always, like if private sector bank employees are doing good job, the incentives is much higher than the public sector bank employees. A private sector bank employees can get 20% hike, 20% incentive, 20% appraisals. But in public sector banks, that minimum 3, 5, that attention, that concentration is boost up particular employee, so that if I'm giving more time to the particular organization or bank, private bank, I will get more. That's the thing of monetary matters. If the people are having required for monetary things, you can cope up with the particular thing. Now, from the mediation analysis method, they found that coping strategy mediates between level of stress and work-family relations for both the bank employees. So we can say that stress is partially reduced for both bank employees, but the level of stress for private bank workers has been reduced slightly higher than public bank staffs. This is the thing as per the review concerned, that stress is partially reduced if you're taking the coping strategy, you have adaptive coping strategy, that stress is after using the coping strategy or adapting the coping strategy, stress has been reduced partially, not fully, because it is not possible that you can reduce stress fully. Partially, you can reduce the stress. Now, in the absence of excessive stress, employees can give time to their families, can join the occasion, and can spend time with the children. Similarly, they can concentrate the office work appropriately. They can enjoy their job and reduction of the stress. Now, you have to enjoy your job, simultaneously you have to enjoy with your family. If you correlate with these two things, then it will be very easy for you to make good relationship with the work family. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Otherwise, the consequences will be your stress level will high. But if you manage these things, you're balancing these things. Whenever I'm in the organization bank, 10 to 5, I'll be there. When I come to the family members, fully engage with the family members. Automatically, this kind of adaptation may affect or may happy a particular bank employee. Now, as per the suggestion and recommendation, there is no disparity in the sources of stress already discussed. Now, there is no reason to consider that one can get little brief for the doing the job in the public sector. So it is practical that everyone has to do their job accepting the stress in the organization. Now, you have to accept the stress. That is the first thing to minimize the stress, to manage the stress. We have to accept the stress. Problem is that people are not accepting the stress. Why I'm stressed? Why I'm doing the thing? Think for 5 minutes that we have to accept this stress, whether I am doing in public sector bank or I am doing in the private sector bank. Now, excessive stress can give a negative result too. Yes, obvious, you'll be rude, you're having some physical issues, health issues, and higher authority will be focused on this thing, that these people are not doing up to the work. You have done good job. Suddenly your level of task or your target are not achieved. You're not doing a good job. Whatever you're doing, it is failed. So higher authority will be think about what this person are doing, why these things are there, because you are stressed. And this may affect on the negative result. Because if an employee are in stress, they are doing a negative, they are doing a not up to the mark, and its effect on the organization, because organization running by the employees only. If the employees are stressed, automatically it will impact on the job. And if they are not going to do job, automatically it will impact on their organization. Now, automatically, the environment of innovation influence the performance. If an environment is very good, cool, right now people are saying very cool. The school word very famous. If very good environment is very good, automatically, because of the ambience or the environment, the employee performance may improve. And it recommend that the satisfactory surrounding the workplace staff and association. There should be a bonding with the staff members. Then automatically people can, if suppose you're having some emergency, you're just giving your task to another people and the people are doing on behalf of you. If that kind of bonding is there in a bank, then automatically you can reduce your stress, because you know that people is there, my friend is there. If I'm having some emergency, I have to leave the organization, a bank, a branch, he is there, he will support me, he will do my job. But simultaneously, if he will have some problem, same day he will ask you for the same, and he's supposed to do that. This kind of adjustment required. Now, money is a vital factor. Obvious, people are doing work in a particular bank or any organization. First thing that money matters, a vital factor, and this assistance should be there. I'm not talking about the on-time salary disbursement. It's all about that increments, appraisals, promotions, because once the people have been getting their appraisals, they'll be getting hikes. If they're having promoted, the salary structure may be different, may be increased. So this assistance required, so that their mindset, like other benefits, not in the salary, money, other benefits like insurance, medical claims, insurance, other benefits, other perks, if there any bank is given, then that will be very helpful for the mindset of a particular bank employee. They know that that thing is their task. So many organizations are there that they are giving some buses for their own children, employees' children. The bus is there, they're going for the children are there because you don't have any headache. You can focus on your job because whatever you're dropping your school for your children and pick up from the school, from your children, pick up from the school, it is company's task, their duty. You need not to worry. Then automatically your mind setup will be focused on the particular thing, that my children is safe because it has been taken care by my organization. The next, employees of both public and private sector banks are entitled to the recognition of the efforts, and this leads to the satisfaction of the employees. Simultaneously, it enhances the production of the association. Now, recognition is matters, already have discussed, and this should be appreciated by the bank employees. Now, responsibility of work that extend to the workers execute the responsibilities and efficiently and accurately. Excessive workload may destroy the work, so that you have to distribute your work accordingly to the bank employees. Now, in any matter, the organization's that opinion of every employee should be taken into consideration. From the various analyses that public sector bank are not in the private sector banks, it is beneficial for the association if your views or employees are respected in private sector also, because your bank employees' views are utmost important for you. You're supposed to give importance to your opinion of your bank employees. If you're giving importance, they'll be think about that. Yes, the bank are giving me importance. So automatically the motivation works and they'll be influenced. Automatically they'll be satisfied. The attitude of the managers should be crucial role. Yes, in certain aspect, it would be more harsh, rude, but in certain aspect, you're supposed to be more polite towards employees. Yes, it's obvious because ultimately we are human beings, so attitude may differ, but it's supposed to be changed in a next moment. Now it's all about that the circumstances of association satisfactory, such as employees can take the responsibility gladly and set up their mind to work different organizations with the same job. Now, if you're not satisfied, specifically in the private sector banks, if people are not satisfied with the particular bank, then they have to say, suppose people are working in Axis Bank, and there he's not satisfied with the particular bank, and they're supposed to be shifted to the ICICI Bank. And if this is the culture, then automatically it will reflect to the entire thing, because suppose one people has been leave from the Axis Bank or one private bank A. Similarly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 people has been left from the particular bank. So it will impact on the bank too. The why people are leaving from the particular bank. That should not be the nature, culture for the organization. Now, next is all about that cooperation is required from the family members. Then it is very careful that the balance should be family and work should be there. And managers of the public and private association should be in an arrangement of training. There are so much training as required. You sit one-to-one and discuss with your employees, what is the problem, why you are so much stressed, and that matters. If that is the culture, automatically you can reduce your stress, you can manage your stress. This cooperation is required. Now, the social significance, then it can set confidence that present studies are enormously helpful for the banking industry. The analysis constitutes the loads of discriminants and stress felt by the employees in the bank, satisfaction of the employees from their job, their commitment of the organization. This research studies also emphasizes on the essential issues of which an employee can be benefited from the acknowledging the significance of a keeping balance and good relation with the work and family. This research will help an employee to realize the requirements and practice of handling stress to diminish his or her stress. In another way, it can be illustrated that aptitude to comprehend, respond, and cope with the difficult situation regularly facilitates the employees to manage stress in work and environment. And this will expand the pathway of a better relation with the work and family of the employees. So this is my objective, and that's why I have chosen this topic. And I know this after this review, or after getting this review, people of the bank employees may have the confidence or motivation that yes, if I can manage these things with the help of these coping strategies, other stuffs, I can be a good person, good father, good parent, a good spouse, or as simultaneously I'll be a good employee for the organization. Now, in our study, we are finding that these cover so many things, and stress has a strong impact on employee job satisfaction, and the stress effects plays an important role on organization commitment of the bank employees of both the sectors. And it has been found that employees are able to reduce their stress in accepting coping strategies. That's very important. If they're adapting coping strategies, both the sectors, they are influence the level of stress, and on effect of stress reduced after controlling the mediating variable, that is coping strategy. If they're taking coping strategies as their parameter of the mediating variable, they can easily minimize a certain aspect, the stress. They can manage the stress, and they can manage their health issues. They can manage their work family relationships too. Now, this is all about my review. And if you're having any question answer, please.
Thank you, Dr. Basu. This is a very extensive study on the stress management of the public sector and the private sector banks, as I can see. And it is a thorough understanding of what has happened throughout the years. I'm very interested to, in fact, go through all the reviews that you have gone through, the 100+ reviews that you have gone through, which is very
definitely I'll share with you.
Fine, thank you. In fact, there are a few participants who are asking for the PPT, if it is possible for you to share.
Definitely. I'll share with you.
Fine. If you send me that, I'll be forwarding the PPTs to the people who have asked for.
My pleasure. If something, that is for the research. If people have going by the research, and if it is helpful for them, then ultimately I'll be the more happiest person in the world.
Truly so. Truly so. Speaking just absolutely like a teacher and a mentor. Thank you. So as I can see, there's only one question. There's two questions have come in. One question has come in, which is actually how to reduce stress. But I can see during your briefing, debriefing at the last, while giving the significance and the conclusions, you have already touched upon that. There are many ways which can be done. So I think the question was given before you had gone through the conclusions. So I think the question and the answer has been
that is the main question, because people are thinking about that, how to reduce.
Yes.
Prime question, and that is my prime focus, was that it's all about reduce, or you have to, because you cannot say that you can reduce such a little bit, but it's better to say that manage the stress, because we can manage, because you cannot ignore. The stress is all over there. I'm just giving in one, that is my research area was the public and private sector banks. But if you're taking about the other parts, everywhere stress is, even we are in academics. People are thinking about that people are in academics, teachers, or people are in college professors, that are very much they're not having stress. But in certain aspects, people are also having stress. So my next research is all about that, on the research on the stress management on teachers, school teachers, or college professors.
Very nice. So this, of course, we'll be sharing this PowerPoint after I get the email IDs who registers. So I'll be sending it to all of them. So thanks a lot, Dr. Basu. It was very interesting to know. You have given the conclusions based on the statistics, that you have received about the problem. So the solutions were not only thought about, but these were actually came out from the numbers that you got. So it is very much proved in that manner. So we will be benefited, I am pretty sure, because the stress is common to all, be it any sector. Maybe the type of stress might be different, but it will be common to all.
Maybe the sources of stress or types of stress may be different.
Absolutely. So basically the conclusion, we can try to manage it in our own ways. So thanks, Dr. Basu. It was very interesting session. We'll take leave. For the participants who are waiting for the feedback form and the e-certificate link, I'll be sharing on the chat box. And
Thank
also
you so
on
much,
the screen.
sir. Thank you so much. Thank you all the attendees. I would like to thank all the attendees, and special thanks to you, Honorable Sir, for inviting me for such a wonderful forum. And
we will have more opportunities of taking this into a different sector and having a discussion on this, so that it can be.
Okay, somebody saying, sir, go for, sir, please kindly go for the steel sector.
Yes. So nice. Okay. So we'll call it a day, and I'll share on the screen the e-certificate and feedback link. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank
Thanks.
you, sir. Good night, sir.